Hello and welcome back to the TVBinges.com Pilot Roundtable, a Southgate Media Group podcast. I'm Kyle Tremblay, the editor of TVBinges.com, and I'm joined as always by a fellow TV Binges writer. She's preparing her doomsday bunker as we speak. It's Olivia Richards! Hello!
Prepping it, yep, getting ready.
You're a hardcore doomsday prepper.
Yes.
You got canned goods and got your DVDs of your favorite shows.
Yes.
So today, we are not preparing for the apocalypse, but we are talking about NBC's critically hyped, hour-long comedy, You, Me, and the Apocalypse. Olivia, what did you think?
I was expecting to really like this, and then I got worried because I was expecting to like this, and sometimes it happens, where you hype something up so much in your mind, and then it, kind of isn't what it, turns out to be. But no, this actually really lived up to what I was expecting from it. And I think this is my favorite premiere of 2016 that we've talked about.
Bold statements. So what did you enjoy about this one?
I just really love all the different elements of, all the different storylines kind of coming together, how, we're getting to know all these different characters, and how they're kind of going to become intertwined as the show goes on. And then, of course, seeing Jenna Fisher back on screen. Mm-hmm. I love The Office. And, she hasn't been really in anything, for a while. So to get to see her, back in a different role is always an opportunity that I would want to, jump on.
Yeah, well, for Parks and Rec and Office fans like ourselves, seeing Rob Lowe, Chris Traeger, and Jenna Fisher, Pam Beesly together is very exciting. Even though they don't have any scenes together in this pilot, still very exciting. And also, Megan Mullally is here, and she, of course, is the wife of Nick Offerman, aka Ron Swanson. So there's all kinds of sort of NBC family connections here. This is a weird show. This is a real weird one. I didn't know what to expect going in. I had heard a lot about this show, not so much like the details, but just critics sort of talking about it. I did not see a lot of hype surrounding this show aside from critics. I don't think there was and the ratings reflect this. I don't think there was a public groundswell of interest, the way that there have been with other pilots. But it's, the pilot is this weird sort of multiple stories thing. Again, the show is called Me, You, and the Apocalypse, and it's set, it starts 30 days, or it's hard to explain. There's a comet heading towards Earth, and Earth has 30 more days to exist. But, so we sort of start in that time frame, but we also see, the time frame right as the comet is hitting, and apparently our main cast is in some kind of bunker that's going to survive it. There's still a lot of details that need to be filled in, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that there's a mystery element to this.
Yeah.
It's allegedly a comedy, but it's an hour long. It's single cam, obviously, and there weren't really jokes per se. It kind of, the show that this reminds me of is Orange is the New Black.
Yep.
As it's sort of that genre. I don't know what that genre is, but it's that genre of sort of dramedy that can really vary its tone from being really light to sort of more heavy. And it's also got a big ensemble cast and this pilot jumped around from story to story a lot. But I found I didn't think it was funny necessarily, but I just thought it was really interesting. And that was my main takeaway, is that I thought this was just a very interesting pilot that set up an interesting world with interesting characters. And I am very curious about what's going to happen going forward.
Oh, absolutely. And I like how you brought up that it's not exactly a comedy per se, because it's for me, for this show, I think what really drew me in is just the fact that there was a really, really strong sense of humanity in the characters. Mm-hmm. And as an audience member watching, you get to decide what you think is funny. It's not one of those things that's going to spoon feed you oh, this is a joke. You should laugh at this. Someone's going to do something really crazy and hilarious and you're going to think it's funny. There are so many different elements of kind of that dark comedy where as an audience member, you're going to be able to find what you think is really, really funny. I loved the relationship with, Jenna Fisher and Megan,
Mullally.
Yeah, that's it. Just like the entire thing with, Megan's character being a supremacist. And like,
I did laugh when Jenna Fisher noticed the swastika tattooed on her forehead.
yeah.
and her reaction, like, oh. It was,
exactly.
To me, my favorite aspect of this pilot, and what I'm actually excited about going forward, is the Catholic Church storyline with Rob Lowe and the actress's name is Gaia Scodelario, where she is a nun who has come to work for him, and he is a sort of freewheeling, chain-smoking Catholic priest, I think. And they are sort of in charge of debunking all of the sort of inevitable doomsday prophets that are going to emerge in the month between when it's announced the world is ending and when the world actually ends. And I just, that's a really interesting element to bring in, the religious element. And I really liked what you said about the show taking the characters seriously, because I think an interesting comparison to this is another NBC single cam, Superstore, which premiered a little while back and has gotten pretty good reviews, but I didn't like that show, and I didn't like it because I didn't feel like it took its characters seriously in the pilot. And this, I think, like, just, you can like or dislike characters, but the show leaves it up to you for that, and it never has, the pilot doesn't go for that big sappy moment at any point. It's so above that. The show is so above, like, making any kind of, like, pandering move to get the audiences on board with someone. And I really appreciated that. And that's why I think, like, a premium show like Orange is the New Black is a better comparison than, like, an NBC comedy. Because, again, it's an hour, but it's also not making any of these sort of concessions to trying to get viewers that comedies tend to make.
That's exactly it. And, like, I felt like, especially for this being an NBC show, but like, it felt so genuine. And it's like, I feel like that's what's really lacking in so many shows nowadays, where they kind of just try to pump out as many new premieres as possible. But it's like the content is so lacking, and it's like, it kind of just relies on, these big moments and just, a lot of pomp and circumstance that, distracts from the fact that there's really no content to the show. But this show wasn't that. Like, it was so kind of like simple and stripped down, but, you had these really great moments, between characters that I just, I want to just see more.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to bring it all together, because I know they eventually all end up in this bunker together, but I just wonder how the sort of post-apocalypse element of the show is going to play out, and how the show is going to juggle these, what appears to be multiple timelines that it's going to be dealing in. The sort of pre-apocalypse timeline and what I imagine will be a post-apocalypse timeline. I'm just very curious about all of this, and, or if the entire show is going to take place sort of in the moments leading up to the apocalypse. It's just really, there's a lot left to the imagination here, and a lot sort of to look forward to. Do you have any theories about what I would consider to be the main story of this pilot, or at least the sort of 1A story, which is the British actor Matthew Bainton? I forget what his character's name is, but he finds out that A, he has an identical twin, and B, his wife that went missing a few days after their wedding without a trace has apparently resurfaced, and maybe with that twin or something. Like do you have any theories about where that's going, or any thoughts on that?
I'm not really sure. Like, that was the one that threw me through a loop. Like, I was not expecting that as a storyline at all, or, for that, kind of curveball to be thrown. So I think that's the one that I'm kind of, really waiting to see how that's going to develop.
Yeah, me too. I don't have a sense of where that's going or how that's going to factor in, but it's again, this pilot, I wouldn't call this great. To me, this is not like a slam dunk home run pilot, but it definitely made me interested. And it's the kind of pilot that if this show becomes great, then I would look back on it and probably think it is great. but if this show becomes bad, then I could probably look back and nitpick a lot about it. But that's probably a good sign. It's, most shows aren't great from the pilot, and I'm definitely interested enough in this world to want to see more and see where this is going. So this pilot did a 1.2 rating in the demo with 5 million viewers, which is not great, especially for a show with the what is surely a rather expensive and large cast. What is your sense of whether this will be canceled quickly, make it through the season, or renewed for next season?
I mean, I definitely think it's going to make it through the season. Like, that much is for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of just thinking it's gonna at least make it through the season.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely going through the season. I wonder if this is going to be a test case to see where NBC's head is at, because I suspect this is going to get pretty good critical reviews, and it seems to be getting good reviews in general. So in the past, NBC was sort of known for, Hannibal is a great example of this, keeping shows on the air that were well reviewed but not super well watched. And I wonder if NBC, because they kind of went away from that in recent years, I wonder if they will make an investment in this show and hope that it, pays out in the long run, or if they're just going to, if the ratings are just going to keep going down and they won't be interested in keeping it going. But it'll definitely get through one season. I think the show is too interesting and too well received critically to be canceled early, especially because no shows are getting canceled these days. So, yeah. So your final verdict, thumbs up, or thumbs down on You, Me, and the Apocalypse?
This is a huge thumbs up for me. Honestly, this is my favorite show, really, of 2016, if not, just from everything that we've seen so far. So it's a huge thumbs up.
Yeah, I am not quite as enthusiastic, but it is also a thumbs up from me. I'm very interested. I think the show, of all the pilots that we've watched, probably in the last, calendar year, maybe, I can't think of one where I thought the show had as much upside as this one does. If this goes right, if they get this show right, this could be like Orange is the New Black, this could be a sort of really good show. Not just a good for network TV show. This could be an actual, the kind of show that gets nominated at awards shows and is, well loved. It might be the first network show since Hannibal, to be like that, where it's premium cable quality. But I don't know if it's there yet, but it might get there at some point.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. So you've been listening to the Pilot Roundtable, a TVimages.com and Southgate Media Group production. You can listen to all of our episodes on iTunes, where you can rate and review us. We'd appreciate that. Or find us at southgatemediagroup.com. Follow Olivia on Twitter at RichardsOlivia, and me on Twitter at KyleLovesTV. Until next time.